Hi guys, you're very welcome to today's video. Today's video we're talking social housing. So you'll be aware here at Ask Paul we try to help people with as much of financial planning as we possibly can. Sometimes in our DMs we get asked questions about social housing. I will say we have very limited experience. We do point people towards websites of various things. So I'm delighted today to be joined by John Hannigan from Circle. So Circle are the people you really need to reach out with if you have been on a social housing list or if you get called for a house. So John's going to help you sort everything out. But before we get into that, John, you might bring me through getting on the list and talking. I mean, a lot of people here that might be on half or might be still at home and they're on a social housing list or a housing list of some description. But talk me through why people reach out to Circle and who you help, I suppose. So
Sure.
even if someone's thinking of going on social housing,
Yeah.
or you really help them when they get the house, you will help them get on the list and give them all the information they need.
That's it. One of the things that we find is that people don't really understand what they're entitled to.
Yeah.
So it's very clear that if you're on a low level of income that you should be able to apply for social housing. The reality is if you earn 40,000 net income after your tax and everything else, you are qualified for social housing.
Well,
So yeah, so if you take it that our average gross wage in this country is nearly 35 grand,
Yeah.
that means more than 50% of our country actually can apply for social housing. Very few people understand that. And the reason we're telling people this is because there's a need for them to use the best options available. You're always trying to give them good advice about what they should do when they have money. We want to make sure that we can help them where they don't have money.
just to say, that's 40,000 single or gross net income.
It's single net income.
Single net income.
Yeah.
So if I have
Now-
a couple, say there's a
Yeah.
couple with income coming in, what is it then? For
It's
the
about
social-
48 to 50,000
for the couple. Okay,
net
that's
income.
a lot of income still coming in fairness, in
Yeah.
today's environment.
Yeah.
So you're talking to people that are maybe on 60,000 to maybe 75,000 combined salaries.
That's right.
And actually go onto the housing list as well, go look for the social housing.
That's exactly it. And that people don't understand, don't know that. And they think that because they're earning so much, or they have savings. And this is the other thing. Now, people think, oh, I've got money in the bank, and I've lost my job, but I have 100,000 in the bank, or I've been managed to save, because the advice you give them, Paul, that they say, I can't apply. The reality is, you ignore what's in the bank.
Right.
It's what you
just
earn.
on income.
It's on income, what you earn. And that's the key driver for whether you can apply. Once you get on that list, once you decide to make the application, what we tell people to do is to actually not just do the application in its own, but actually tick the box that says
And this
approved housing
is
body.
something you mentioned to me earlier on. So we talk about this with clients all the time, and that ticking the box. And it's really important before you do anything to get advice before you tick any boxes and any applications. So whether it's the company pension scheme, whether it's anything to do with finance at all, you should always get advice. And a lot of people will listen to their peers, family, friends, and they're not the experts.
Yeah.
So this is something that Circle can help you in. So
Yeah.
I'm on, say, 40 grand net income. I'm thinking of going on social housing, and I get the application. Here's an example of the process here as well.
Yeah.
So you put on a link to the video to get more information to this, guys, as well. So below this video, you're going to find all the applications and all the kind of literature. But I can come to you and you're going to show me how to complete and what I need to complete. But just bring me
Yeah.
through the difference between ticking the AB box again. Go through that.
Yeah, if you don't tick the AHB box, effectively you are only going to get selected or offered housing that's local authority owned housing.
Right.
Okay? There's about 150,000 homes that are owned by local authorities right across the country. It excludes you from the 55,000 other homes that are owned by the approved housing bodies.
Right,
So by
okay.
ticking that one box, you now have a fantastically bigger
You've now
group.
got 200,000 houses possibly.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, okay, very good.
And the reality is most of the houses that are provided by the social housing providers like ourselves are new homes.
Okay.
A2 plus rated, with all the repairs and maintenance, everything else that you can possibly think of looked after on your behalf. Plus, what makes us different to the private sector is you've got a home for life.
Yeah.
We don't have the we don't have the opportunity to sell, but that's not what we're set up to do. We're set up to provide social housing. The opposite side to that is that you can't buy the house.
Yeah.
But the reality is you don't need to. If you're paying, for example, if you're on 40 grand, then the potential rent that you're going to be paying is about 70 euro a week.
Right, okay.
That's all you pay is 70 euro a week.
So you're paying 70 euro a week, home for life. You don't need to buy the house, and you still have all that other disposable income.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. That
Absolutely.
actually is quite phenomenal. And I'm going to say this. I didn't know that. I'm
There you
going to
go.
try it. And I think I have a good knowledge of most areas of personal finance. But again, when it comes to social housing, I've always thought of it as being so complicated to dive in that we're afraid to give the information out to people. So I'm delighted we're doing this video because Ask Paul is all about education, and I'm trying to get as much information out to people as possible.
Yeah.
So that's phenomenal. Now, people watching this video are automatically going to be going, I'm on the list, and I'm on the list a long time.
Yeah.
So what's the situation? So obviously we're down to trying to build as many houses as possible, which is a big challenge for the government at the moment. So waiting lists aside, I find that people are automatically put off joining the list because they feel it's never going to happen for them. So what would you advise those people?
Yeah. first of all, I have to acknowledge that it can take a long time. And in fairness to the government, and you had Darragh O'Brien on yesterday, they're trying to do what they can to speed up the process. The reality is it can still take a period of time. And that will depend on where you want to live, what the number of homes are available in that area, the number of people on social housing waiting list at that point in time for that particular area. But the great thing is, with the local authorities, you can apply for 3 different areas within a local authority. And I say to everybody, pick the 3 you want.
Yeah, see, people
don't limit
too
yourself.
Selective. They're saying where
I just want
this
there.
one area, and then they want.
That's
and do you mind me asking again? Just kind of trying to, from what I would have experienced with people giving me feedback on these things, would be that they feel that if they refuse the house or the first house, do they get an option, a second house or third house? So let's say you put the 3 areas down, and you get the third area, your least favoured, if you like. You can then, are you still in, or are you knocked off the list?
No, you're still in. You've got up to 3 refusals before you get knocked down the list.
Okay.
And what's more, when you refuse, you can actually see where you sit on the list for the other 2 areas.
Right.
So you'll have an idea what number you are and how much longer you might have to wait to get a home. Now, look, the reality is there are waiting lists. It does take time to actually get a home. But with the number of houses that are being delivered now in our sector, purely in our sector, we are seeing those waiting lists reduce.
Right, very good.
So we are seeing social housing people getting in quicker.
And I presume for social housing, you mentioned there's like 150,000 to local authority and another 55, so it's like 200,000 total that you can offer. If somebody passes away or somebody comes out of social housing for whatever reason, they meet somebody or they move on or whatever that situation will be, that comes back on as well as a supply. So it's not just new builds.
No, it's not just new builds. It is that effectively every empty home that becomes available is relet in some shape or form. The reality is, though, that when people, particularly in our sector, in the approved housing body sector, 85% of people we provide homes to are working.
Right.
Okay? Almost 100% of the people we provide homes with stay with us.
Right.
They don't want to leave. They don't want to move on, even when they can afford it. So you qualify for social housing at a particular level. Your income goes up. You don't have to leave. You stay, and that's your home for life.
So I have €40,000 net income. I qualify for there as a couple, 48k, whatever that is, and then I get set my own business or whatever I do, and I end up making 300-400 grand a year. I don't have to move out of that house. It's not reassessed.
No, the only bits that's reassessed is how much rent you pay, and that's based on a percentage of your salary. But it's a small percentage, so 10% of your salary. Now you can imagine, and I always trot out this example because it's a real example. We have a tenant in Circle who was a trainee accountant on 17 grand in one of the big fours. You know, couldn't get anything, couldn't afford anything, but he got onto the social housing waiting list. We gave him a 1-bed apartment. Okay, he's now earning 90 grand. He's in a 3-bed house of ours, and he's still with us because he's in the community he wants to live in. He's part of that community. He doesn't want to have to move out just because he's earning more money.
Yeah.
He wants to be able to live in that community, contribute to that community, and he's getting a great deal.
Yeah.
So you don't have to move out. You can stay there. So your circumstances are about...
No, John, I'm very, very honest. We get so many people here at Ask Paul or in through DMs all the time. And the majority of them trying to get mortgages, how I get out. I was thinking about maybe if they came up to stand even today, that would qualify for this, they don't know it.
Yeah.
And they don't know it. So, and it's net income, not gross incomes. That's the first thing I've learned. I always just presumed it was gross income.
Yeah.
So 40,000 net income is about 65 grand. So as a single person, you can still qualify. But obviously, it's the waiting and the patience of trying to get it.
Yeah.
Is there any time frame on this? Like, if I go on today, is it 5 years? Is it 2 years? Is it 10 years? Or what would you be set? Because obviously that's the one thing everyone's going to ask you
straight away. Yeah.
So I might as well ask you for everyone watching this video, because I have a funny feeling you're going to get a lot of applications in. So yeah, what is the time frame?
Yeah, look, the reality
How long
is
a piece of string?
No, it's not quite as arbitrary as that, thankfully.
Right.
Okay, so the first thing to say is that it's 12 weeks. The assessment period is 12 weeks from when you put all your documentation in. So it's a bit like you were saying earlier on, banks don't start to assess you until all your documentation's in. Same thing with this. Get your documentation in. It's 12 weeks. They have to assess you within 12 weeks and tell you if you qualify. Full stop. At that point, then you are also then on the list for your 3 preferred areas. And as I said, it will depend on where you are in terms of, there's all kinds of criteria. So for example, we talked about fresh start. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a emotive subject. It's a really, there's a lot of people going through that process right now in the social housing side of it. Actually, most of those people are in a likelihood of being homeless, serious risk of being homeless in the short term.
They can't home anymore. They can't afford the rent.
So they're actually higher up the list. They will all be prioritized.
There you go.
So there's a number of elements that prioritize you. So you've got children.
Are they the same income thresholds of 40,000? Yeah, same.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Perfect.
So, things like the income threshold, but
So they'll be
prioritization elements.
prioritised because they're so close to homelessness, right? Very good.
Absolutely. Or if
But
they've
that's
got
only fair.
children,
Yeah.
or there's a whole range of different criteria that will.
So I'm pushing
be
for a
made.
time frame.
Yeah, I know, and I'm trying not to answer.
Yeah, you're trying not to answer. I feel like
Fair
you're
play
a
to you,
politician.
fair play to you. Look, the reality is, what we're seeing is that it can take anything from, and this is genuinely, from 6 months to 5 years.
Right, okay.
And that 6 months would be depending on where you want, the likelihood of homes being provided in that area, particularly new homes being provided in that area, and then how many people want to live in that area.
So let's take it I'm a single mother and I have 2 kids and I'm not aware of this scheme and I find out about the scheme from watching this video and, you know, so I reach out to Circle, they hand me the application. Depending on the area, it could be anywhere from 6 months, but hopefully within 5 years, I'll be housed and paying that level of income in the area.
That's exactly
That's not, like, that's worth the wait or worth the patience. It depends on your circumstances. I'm not trying to be rude to anybody here as well. I say things like that, I'm not trying to...
Sure. No,
it's easy for him to say, but I'm just saying, if you have in 5 years nailed this and you're paying that kind of 70 or 80 quid a week forever, it really genuinely, from financial planning, just point of view, I don't know what your circumstances are, but it is worth it.
And look, in the meantime, what you can do, and this is a bit that we do talk to people about, and I'm not a supporter of HAP. Okay?
Right, okay.
Absolutely not. I think HAP is a waste of money for
It's a waste of money for the government anyway,
for everybody. Okay? But the reality is, that's your short-term gap.
Right, okay.
Fill that HAP as your short-term opportunity.
Okay.
So
qualify for HAP, get your HAP.
Well, it's the same qualification process.
But if you qualify for HAP, do you automatically qualify for this?
Yes.
And are you automatically on the list?
Yes.
Right, okay.
And that's the bit people don't realise.
But they mightn't be on the list with the
HB because they haven't ticked that box.
Because you haven't ticked it. So can they reapply on the AHB and get
All you need to do is go back in online, if they've done it online, or ring your local housing office and say, I want to tick that box, please.
Okay, so look guys, not being smart. The big advice here is that if you are already on the list or on HAP and you haven't ticked or think you may have not ticked the HB box, get on and get it ticked ASAP because you're going to probably speed up the process, I would have thought, or have more likelihood of finding a house quicker.
Yeah, and what's more, you're getting, once you get into the social house, you've got that security for life that you don't have with HAP.
Yeah.
So, you've talked about it.
I mean, like and houses can be pulled from underneath you at any stage by landlords as well.
Yeah.
There's no security, or even the simple things, and I find which really kills people on HAP, especially when they have kids, is trying to either decorate the house or the pets or just some various different things in life that are just for what I'd say a family that have a home, as in they bought a house.
Yeah.
They have that luxury of doing those little things. It's not even about the money. It's sometimes the
freedom to make it your home.
Or the community. You mentioned the community about the accountant thing. Having been in the community and having a home, it's just so important to those people. And then having the landlord to ask permission to do the simplest things, or change walls or decorations, etc. It's I'm sure it's the same thing, but it makes a big difference. Anything else you need to add for people to get quality advice out of this?
Just to say, contact us. Thank you for highlighting this. So we're really happy to do that. We want to see as many people. We think that this should be a first option for everybody. Get on the list regardless. If you have the income levels below 40,000, do it anyway. Even if you don't want to do it, make it an option. Make it your first option. It's not going to hurt your opportunity to do everything else.
Yeah.
The other great thing about it is that we say it's a home for life, and it is a home for life, but you can choose when to leave it. So you've been helping people with the protection of their salary, growing their income, etc. We say we want people to do that.
Yeah.
And if they do that and they want to move out of their community or they want to move from that home, they can do that within 4 weeks' notice. So all they have to say to us, thanks very much, guys. We've enjoyed being here, but actually we're now going to go and buy our own home. That's great. Yeah. We would support that.
Excellent.
But you've got the security to be there for as long as you want.
The last question I'd like to know is, I'm sure again viewers might know, Circle. How does Circle get involved in this? So obviously Circle are not for profit. So what is it like? What is the process? I suppose you mentioned reach out to Circle from any stage, but your real thing is when people get the call to say you're on the list. So somebody's watching this, they're on the list, and they get a call in the next week or two, hopefully fingers crossed, or next month or whatever it is. They reach out to you, and then what is the process then for you to get involved? And what's the service, I suppose, that you guys bring to that door?
Sure. Okay. Well, first thing is we'll get the same notification you do at the same time. We'll make contact with you, or you can make contact with us. So people get very excited. You must love giving
those calls, do you?
We absolutely. That's why I'm doing this for 30 years.
It's like us giving a mortgage approval or something. You kind of get a buzz getting the client on their way.
I'm doing this 30 years, and the reason I'm still doing it at 30 years is because that handover of the key that comes at the end of it. The light, the smile is amazing. But what we do is we help people to, first of all, we get to know people, really get to know them. So we will interview and talk to you. We want to find out what your preferences are, what kind of home you want, where you want that home to be situated in the homes that are available. So you're not just that's your home. Okay.
Right,
we work with people to understand what they want. That's the first thing. Second thing is we try and bring the communities together. So we try and make sure everybody is aware of who's there and help them to understand how each other might work together as part of the community.
Very good, okay.
But then we help you with the move. So if you need help with the move financially, you need help with the move physically, we can help you with that as well.
Very good.
We also have the opportunity to help you with furniture, etc. And we're doing some work actually with the credit unions, which is new. We haven't advertise it as such yet, but it's coming very shortly in the next couple of weeks, where they will help us with additional support for our tenants as well.
That's brilliant.
So yeah, we're working across communities, and then we're there with you all the way through. We'll help work out what your rent is. We'll help you with payment processes. We can do it either directly through MABs, through other money advice, whatever it might be, to get a point that you're comfortable in your home.
Brilliant. Yeah, it's a really, really good service. Joe, I'm not just saying this because you guys are here and you're sitting beside me on this video, but as Paul was started 5-6 years ago, all about bringing jargon-free financial planning advice, trying to help people as much as possible. This is probably, for a lot of people watching this video, is probably one of the best videos we've done, or the most important videos in relation to content, because I know that some people don't know this or don't know the thresholds, and I think it's really going to help families. It might not be today or tomorrow, it could be that 6 months or 3 years or 4 years or 5 years, but I really hope it encourages people to reach out to the guys at Circle, get yourself on this. All the details, the contacts are going to be below this video or in the comment section as well, depending on where you're watching the content. And John, I will say massive thank you for helping me put the message out.
Thanks all. Thank you for having us.
You're very good.
Great to work with you.
Yeah,
Thank
cheers
you.
guys, and I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Have a good day.
Take care.